my name is Mary Finley, and I have worked with one-on-one with our pros for the last 2.5 years here at Housecall Pro, and I really work with them to get them up and running and comfortable using the system. And joining me today is Yosef Wasserman of Watermen Plumbing, who has been with Housecall Pro since 2016. Joseph worked his way to become a master plumber and eventually started his business to serve the Hollywood, Florida area. In his free time, he volunteers in his local community, and we're so excited to be working with you today, Joseph. So welcome. Looking forward to our chat.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just like any great webinar, we're going to start out with some good housekeeping rules here. The first one I'm going to mention here is the chat box. So Albert's already gotten in there, introduced himself a little bit, but it's located at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Feel free to interact with other participants throughout the webinar, write which highlights that you like that we're talking about. It's a really great interaction tool there. And then we're going to talk about questions and answers towards the end. And we love questions and we want to encourage you to ask them. There's going to be a question and answer or Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and ask those throughout the webinar, and I will address them at the end of today's chat. And then the final thing here on the housekeeping rules is going to be the follow-up. So each of the participants will receive an email within the next week of a recording of today's webinar. So you'll always have these tips and tricks right into your inbox. I don't know about you, Joseph, but I'm definitely ready to get started.
Let's do it.
All righty, let's do it. All right, so here listed, you're going to see a couple success tips here, but really the meat of the conversation is going to come from Joseph. So Joseph, I know you got started back in 2016, but if there was one, if you could go back in time, what is one feature that you would make sure that you started out with?
Probably the Quickbooks integration. But I mean, today, Housecall Pro has come such a long way since when we first started that there's probably several more. But for me, when I first started, it was definitely the Quickbooks integration. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, and with the Quickbooks integration, did that help you get your customers in easily? Were you able to bring in your job history? What about the integration made it worth it?
So one thing today that makes life a lot easier and makes work a lot more efficient, which in turn means more cash flow and more business, is paperwork. Everyone hates doing paperwork, and basically when you have this QuickBooks integration, you can just set it and forget it. So every time you bill somebody through Housecall, it sends a direct invoice into QuickBooks, and then you can just have your accountant go over all that stuff, and everything just kind of falls into place. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Now, do you think that it helps you get paid on your invoices faster as well?
With QuickBooks?
Yeah, having that integration so everything happens in Housecall and it pushes over really quickly to QuickBooks.
I don't know that having it integrated with QuickBooks makes me get paid faster. One of the things that I use to get paid faster is you guys have the, I don't know exactly remember what the feature, InstaPay is it? Where you get those credit card transactions instantly. So that's what I use. I mean, for me, it's worthwhile. I really like that option.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. How long did it take you to get set up with Housecall where you felt comfortable being able to use it every day in the field?
So that's a great question. And I think for me starting out, and I think this is going to apply for a lot of you guys, if you're starting out, you're going to find yourself using Housecall on your phone, probably 99% of the time. Because, I mean, realistically, you're just not going to be in the office. One of the beauties about Housecall is that it is very user-friendly on the phone. So you can almost do everything on the phone that you can do on the web portal, almost everything. Now, that being said, once you get onto the web platform, there's a lot more things that you can do. So it does get a little bit more complicated until you actually, figure everything out. What was the question again? I thought we were talking about.
That's all right. I was just asking how long you felt like it took you to get up and
Oh,
running.
yeah. So I would say, it's difficult to say because I mean, throughout the whole journey, it's Housecall has just always been coming out with new updates and new stuff. So, implementing that stuff and kind of how it's coming along. But I would say it took me probably about a year until I really got everything down pat. Um, Maybe less, but because it's just hard to say because there's a lot of new stuff that was always coming in. So like when I started updating my price lists, I was having some issues with that. And so I would contact you guys, and then, right now we're working on something with that. So kind of things like that.
Yeah, so it's good.
As far as on the phone, I mean, it's very user friendly, very intuitive. So as long as you're somewhat computer savvy, you shouldn't have any problems.
Yeah, definitely. We spend a lot of resources making it very user friendly, the ease of use, and to make it look like what it looks like on your phone to also what it looks like on the computer. So the transition will be a lot easier there. Perfect. So one thing that I always hear when I would work and interact with different pros is, oh man, I wish I knew about that feature when I got started. And so I think a lot of those hidden features or those features that take a little bit time to uncover are really impactful in your business. And one of those things is job tags and customer tags. So I know that you use those as well. Can you speak towards how they have helped your business, what you do with them, the types of tags that you have, kind of give a good explanation about our job tags and customer
Yeah,
tags.
absolutely. So it took me a while until I actually figured out exactly how to use that properly. But once I started figuring out the advantages of it and how to use it, it really is priceless. And what we do with that is with regards to so there's two different types of tags. There's a customer tag and then there's a job tag. So with regards to the customer tag, just as an idea, some of the things that we do is we'll grade our customers. So for example, is this a good customer? So we'll put them like grade A, so that this way when they're calling back, we know, whether to give them priority service or whatever it is. We know what to expect when we're talking to them. That's just one example. Another example is knowing where your customers are coming from. So if this customer says, hey, yeah, I found you guys on Yelp or whatever, you really want to tag that customer with Yelp, and whether it's Google or whatever it is, when you know where your customers are coming from, you know where to spend more money advertising because that's where you're going to get more bang for your buck. And with regards to the job tags, it's just really good to know what kind of work you're doing. So for example, obviously we're a plumbing company. We'll do job tags like toilet install or water heater replacement. And this way we can keep track of how many of those we're doing and where the business is kind of going with regards to our workflow. And that kind of helps us prepare with regards to stocking, inventory, just in general. The more information you have, the better.
Yeah, it goes into the whole complete job setup. Not only do you need to know the customer, the address, the type of work you're doing, but what can you do with that information after the job has been completed? Job tags and customer tags are going to be the number one way for you, all of you guys, to track your jobs and your customers, and you can run reports about them or even work on our email and postcard marketing with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And one little tip that actually I just thought of that I started doing recently is get your customers' birthdays. I know it's hard because you don't want to go to your customer and say, hey, when's your birthday? So what we do is most of the time people pay with credit cards. So we say, hey, can we please see your ID? And they understand because they think it's more along the lines of, they want to make sure that it's not fraud. There's a lot of fraud, especially here in South Florida where we work. And so we'll get their birthdays, and you send them something on their birthday. People love it. It's just really, really goes a long way in terms of building relationship with your clients.
Absolutely, that repeat business.
Yeah, that's something that you can also do that in customer tags, that you can have their birthdays next to it, and it's really good. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. It helps with the entire customer journey from the moment they call in and talk to your reps on the phone to the moment you guys are out in the field servicing them. You have access to that information, and that's just how you build better relationships with your clients. So that's speaking of customer relationships, one thing that Housecall Pro does really well is customer communication. So can you talk more about the text messaging feature, how you keep your customers in the loop about the entire process?
Yeah, absolutely. So as soon as you schedule an appointment with a technician, the customer, assuming you have their cell phone number, the customer will get a notification saying that this person's going to be at your house at this and this time. And so they get this kind of an appointment confirmation. It'll go to their text, and if they give you an email address, it'll also go to their email. And once you actually go to the job and you press on my way, it'll send them a text notification telling them, this technician is on his way to your place. And so customers really love that because sometimes it can be hard to call the clients on the way. It is the preferred method as a better business practice. But if you can't and you feel like your hands are just really tied, you just press on your way and they're going to get that message. And they really love it. I find that giving them about a half an hour heads up before you come is something which really helps. This way they don't have to sit around waiting. And that's, knowing that you're on the way to them is you just kind of want to know what's going on. So it's very helpful. And I got a lot of compliments with just that feature alone. People love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know as a customer, and we're all consumers in some sort of fashion, just being abreast about what's going on, especially like when I go take my car, plumbing is no different. I just want to know what's going on. That way I can be prepared. And using those features within our platform really helps you guys cut down on, calling in to the office, and then it allows you guys to keep in contact with the customer. So I love that.
And the customers can also track your technician if they download the app, and then they can see where you are on the map, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All they want is transparency. We'll help you give it to them.
Customers love transparency.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I know there's this big, scary bullet point on here that's called online booking. And especially as you're getting started with your company and getting started with Housecall, it can be, the unknown can be very scary. And so how do you use online booking, and how did you make the decision to go forward with online booking?
To me, online booking, when I heard of it, was something which was kind of a no-brainer because just giving people the ability to book something online instead of having to call in is just amazing. And the fact that when they're looking at your schedule on the online, when they're booking online, it's real time. So if you have an appointment slot between 2 and 3, that's going to be blocked off. They're not going to be able to pick that slot. And that's really a huge feature of it. And I mean, in general, we always try to push our customers to book online because it just frees up it frees up people in the office, not having the phones ringing all the time. And it's easier for the customers too. So like I said, I mean, for me, it's really a no-brainer. We don't really, we went through phases of putting up all the pricing on there with pictures and then taking it off. But that's something that I'm still kind of working on to try to figure out how we want to do that. But for now, we kind of will just do like the minimum service charge, so they can pick between that, or they can pick if it's an emergency after hours, and they can either pick that option. So those are the two options that we have, just to keep it basic.
Absolutely, absolutely. And how did you educate your customers that you offered online booking?
So if the lines are busy in the office, there's a message that'll go to them and say, if you're calling to schedule an appointment, please feel free to go on our website and book online. That's one of the things we do. Another thing we do is to promote it is maybe on the invoice we'll write, book your next appointment online and save 5% on your next service call or something like that. That's another idea. I mean, that's a couple of things that I can think of, but I'm sure there's a lot of different things you can do to promote that.
Yep, absolutely. There are tons of ways. It's a matter of, the investment that you want to put into it. Another good one that Joseph kind of hit on there is updating your voicemails. Hey, you've reached so and so at so and so plumbing company. I am unable to get to the phone right now, but if you head to our website, you can book an appointment directly there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so not only setting up online booking, not only putting in your different services that you offer, but you have to bring people to your online booking page. And so just because you have it set up doesn't mean they're automatically going to come. You have to kind of train the customer there. But once you've done it, it becomes natural, and they really tend to book online because maybe your competitor doesn't offer online booking. Maybe they're a busy mom and they don't have time to pick up the phone and call. So giving them an online booking option is definitely a way to set yourself apart, keeps the phones ringing, quote unquote, and then it allows you to connect with your customers in a different way than you were before.
Yeah, I mean, especially now in 2021, everyone's just on the computers all the time, on their phones. I've actually gotten one job, and I asked them, you had so many different companies to choose from. Why did you choose us? And he said, well, you guys are just so easy to communicate with online. I was able to book online. It was just so easy. So, that's just one example that probably paid for the whole booking process, whatever it was costly me for the past 2 years or whatever it was, and then some. So, and that's just the start. So I feel like it's something which is really important. Absolutely.
Ah, good. Nice. So do you have any other features that Housecall Pro offers that are must-haves when running your business?
Yes, I do. These are recent features that I've started to use, and ones that I would highly recommend, especially when you're scaling your business and you're getting more technicians. One of them is the checklist. So you can create a checklist for each job, or not just each job or each customer, but each individual item that you're selling. So let's say, for example, in my case, I'm selling a water heater. I'll have a checklist on that invoice, which basically ensures that the technician will go through each part of that checklist. Make sure all the connections are good, make sure that the water is hot, make sure there's no water on the floor, make sure you clean up, and you get all your tools and stuff like that. And they can't really finish the job until they actually go through each one of those and check them off. And that's just one example of where you can use that. Another way you can use that is, say for example, you're changing a main water shutoff valve for somebody. And so once you have that in the invoice, you can put a checklist so that they can go through any other options on the checklist, like, okay, have you offered a smart valve to replace with that main building control valve? Have you offered a sediment filter? Have you offered, maybe they're interested in a whole house water filtration system? So that's another checklist that you can go through to make sure that your technicians are really not leaving any money on the table in the job, and offering the customer all the bells and whistles that a lot of them probably would want if they knew what it was. I mean, it really is amazing, especially with the water filtration, how people respond very well to that, because once they learn about how much chlorine and chloramines and byproducts the municipalities and cities put in the water, it's gross. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can even attach the checklist to the invoice. So talk about providing, you claim you provide a 5-star experience, you send a 5-star tech out there, and then you can back that up by saying, I said I was going to do X, Y, and Z. You can tell that this checklist is finished. It is now attached to your invoice, and I stand behind what I said in the beginning. So it's just a really great way to operate that entire ecosystem that you have and that you're beginning to build here within Housecall. So
the other app that I recently started using is the property list app, and what that is basically anytime you're installing a new fixture or a new appliance or a new air conditioning unit, this is something which gives you the ability to input all the information of the unit, model, serial number, date of installation, so that if there is ever a problem or if a technician is going to that job, you know which parts to come with ready. Just as one example of things, something you can do with that option. So that's really great.
Yep.
I'm still looking for other ways to kind of take advantage of that, but I think there's a lot more potential with regards to how to use that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And with Property Profile, the app called Property Profile, it can be added to from the job at the job site. So through the mobile app and also at the customer level here within the web portal. And then you can associate it with a service plan, or you can associate it with an individual job. And then we give you a report that tells you when you installed it versus the last service date on that piece of equipment. So it's really great upselling opportunity. It's a really great opportunity for you to track the last time you serviced that customer. And if you're in the slower months, you can always refer to that list and say, hey, so-and-so, I'll be in your area. It looks like it's been a couple years since I serviced your water heater. Can I come by and check it out? So it's just start it from the beginning as you begin with Housecall, as you even begin your business, because these are the elements that will make you more successful and have a better customer relationship.
Absolutely. These are things that you really want to get started on in the beginning, because it is something which takes up a little bit more time. Now, if you're starting it now in the beginning of your business, you're going to have that time. If you're starting it later, you're not going to have that time, and it's going to be a lot harder to implement. So
absolutely,
you've always got to think about scaling your business and things like that.
Absolutely, and that is just so everyone's clear. It's under My Apps. Go to App Store, and then you can activate your checklists and you can activate your property profile with it underneath the productivity section of My Apps. So I'm really enjoying this conversation here. I would definitely want to make sure we get some time for question and answer, but I know that you had one last tip you wanted to leave with our members here, and then there's some immediate next steps that you guys that are all attending our webinar can go off and do as soon as today. So if you want to go ahead and move on to the next screen, I'll let you tell us your final success tip, Joseph.
What was my final success tip?
It's you had said put jobs in as they come up and start using tags right away.
Put jobs in as they come up.
So instead of waiting until the last, like the end of the week, put the jobs in the platform, run the jobs through the Housecall Pro app as they come in, instead of waiting until the end of the week, putting them in, invoicing them out, as it'll save you time if you do it as they come. And then of course.
Yeah, definitely schedule them and take care of each one at a time. One other thing which I highly recommend. So especially if you're starting, you guys are going to need reviews. Now reviews are really, really hard to get. They're getting harder to get every year. Today, to get a review with Yelp, I mean, forget about it. It's like they have these algorithms in place where it's almost impossible for somebody to leave you a review. I mean, they won't take it down. So I mean, that's something which I would probably put on the backside. But there are apps that are integrated into Housecall. I personally use one that's called Nice Job, and the way that one works, you can customize it to kind of fit exactly what you would like for it to do. The way that I use it is once the job is complete and I press finish, the customer immediately gets enrolled in what we call the campaign, and they get a request to leave us a review. And obviously a lot of customers, just kind of either ignore it or delete it because they don't have time at that moment. And so another week later, they'll get another review. And that's kind of what Nice Job does, is it kind of keeps, in a very nice way, it keeps kind of, tapping them on the shoulder and telling them, please let us know how you feel about our service. Now, obviously, we're going to have those customers that we're either not going to close those sales on, or they're just some people you just can't make happy no matter what. And so they always have the option where you just type in no review, one word, in the customer tag. And you got to make sure it's in the customer tag. And when you put that in there, it basically it doesn't send them the review request. So that's a really cool feature as well. But definitely don't want to get on those reviews, guys. It's very important. People shop on reviews.
Absolutely. As consumers ourselves, we're all trained to, oh, you hear about a new restaurant or you're unsure, just hop on Google or hop on Yelp and find out more about it and find out what other people are saying. It's no different for your business too. Housecall has a built-in reviews platform for you that's included in the cost of your account. Or like he was saying, you can integrate with a third-party company such as Nice Job or Broadly, and they'll help you get more reviews as well on different platforms. So I think that's really great advice. Probably the number one thing I would have new business owners do is set up a Google My Business page, which is free, set up a free Facebook account, set up a Yelp account, and make sure that people are saying great things about the hard work you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So some immediate next steps that the audience can take today, as soon as today, is set up job and customer tags. You can do that through the account settings or on a per job or per estimate and basis. Build or import your price list. So your pricing and the types of services you offer is going to what's drive your business, making sure that that's built out and priced according to your area. You'll definitely want to connect your bank account. By connecting the bank account, you have integrated payment options in a Housecall. You can take credit cards directly through here. And just like Joseph was saying, you can also sign up for what's called InstaPay and get paid in 30 minutes or less, which is super fast.
Get the card reader, guys. The card reader is really awesome. It'll save money on your transactions and time inputting the information. It's pretty great.
Yep, absolutely. Card reader can be ordered directly through the My Money section of your app. And then last but not least, test out the platform as if you were going to use it as if you were a customer. So create a test job with your information in there, your email address, your phone number, schedule it, dispatch it, invoice, and pretend to collect money. That way you see it from your side and you also see it from the customer side, which is really important as well.
That's a great point. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So now it's time to open the floor up to, I did want to let you know about our support resources here. So as you guys get up and running, we're definitely here to support you and help you out. We've spent a lot of time and resources making sure our help center is up to par. So in the upper right-hand corner of your accounts, you can click the question mark icon, and that will lead you to our help center where we have over 200 plus tutorials and how-to articles with videos and step-by-step instructions. And that's available 24/7, 7 days a week. And then live chat, we also is available 7 days a week. And if you click the blue chat bubble in the bottom right-hand corner of most of your screens, that resource, like I said, is available 7 days a week and will happily help you out within 5 to 10 minutes. We have an online community, which has in our Facebook group, which has about 10,000 plus home service business owners, just like yourselves, in various stages of owning a business. They just started opening up the business. They've been a business owner for a while, but either way, they all use Housecall Pro, and it's a really great resource for you to get up and running. And then we have housecallpro.com/resources, where you can get free articles, templates, ebooks, and other resources directly towards your industry to get up and running. So I guess I was really excited to get to the question and answer section, but support resources are definitely here for you. And so now is the time where we have opened it up. And through the question and the answer section, Tony has asked, how do you deal with owners with multiple properties and basically working in apartment complexes? Joseph, I'll give the floor to you.
Yeah, great question. So when you have a customer in Housecall, you can add multiple addresses to that customer. And when you book a job, it'll ask you which address are you going to. And each address will have its own apartment number, obviously. So it's not a problem. It's really seamless. Yep.
And then we also have something called parent-child billing. Parent child billing. This is a really great time for you to get into the help center and just search for that, because that allows you to set up basically have two different customers in Housecall Pro. One gets the customer communication and the other gets the billing. So it just depends on how you plan to bill out, but multiple addresses underneath one profile is a great suggestion. And then we have something called parent-child billing. All right, Tony with the good questions here. So he asked another one. Do you track employee time, and do you do that on a timesheet?
I do track employee time. I don't use Housecall for that. Why? I don't know. I just never really kind of got into that. But there is a free application that you can get that I use. It's called Time Station, and it is free. That's what I use to track my employees' times. I mean, they clock in and then they clock out, and it shows you where they're clocking in and where they're clocking out. And it, it gives you all types of reports, and adds their hours up and stuff like that. So that's what I use. It's called Time Station. It's a free web portal app.
Nice. Time Station. Great. And we also have something similar built in directly through the platform as well. We have our time tracking feature. Your technicians can tap to clock in, tap to clock out, and we will tell you where they're doing that at. And then they can also, when they're hitting on my way, start and finish, we are tracking time against a specific invoice on the job as well. So
yeah, I actually have a couple of colleagues who used to use Time Station. One of them is actually the one who introduced it to me, but he actually now is using Housecall. So I don't know. I didn't get on that bandwagon yet.
Well, it's time to start. It's never too late.
Yeah.
Great. So Carrie came in with the question of what's the best way to add the child to the parent profile. This is definitely something that the article in our help center will walk you through, but within the child's customer profile, there is a this customer bills to field, and you just need to make sure that the parent is also in Housecall Pro, and you just type in the parent's name there. Perfect. Another question came through. Do you have a map view to see where the jobs are, each of your employees for the day that you have scheduled? So this helps to send the next request to the employee that is closest to that location. Joseph, do you use our map feature at all?
No, I'm going to throw this one back to you.
Sure, no problem. We definitely have a map feature. It is not a route optimizer. It does not tell you. Basically, it updates your technicians in where they are based off of their use of Housecall Pro. So if they're interacting with our app, then we'll update you in where they are in the map, but it isn't designed to be a route optimizer. It is not designed to show you what's going on tomorrow or what happened yesterday. It is strictly for today, and it will record the location every couple minutes as your technicians interact with our app. So press on my way, press start, tap to clock in, things of those nature.
If you guys are looking for something that's like a more of a something that'll track your truck and that can't be tampered with, there's a company called NexTrack. It's NEXTRAQ, and that'll give you real-time. It'll give you real-time viewing of where the trucks are. You can set up geo fences so that if somebody leaves a certain area, you'll get a text notification saying, the truck left from this location, or the truck's back at this location. And it's about $35 a month per truck. That's something that I would definitely recommend.
Absolutely. That's a very popular practice, is getting something like NexTrack or other resources like that into the trucks. That's something that other companies do really well. Housecall will stick to your software. Perfect. Well, that actually is how they asked, how big of a company is yours and how many employees do you have on Housecall Pro, Joseph?
So right now I have, it's basically me, and I have another full-time employee on Housecall. Technician-wise.
technician wise. Nice. You're the master plumber after all, so.
Yeah, I'm trying to, my job, and all of your jobs, whoever is the business owner and the master plumber, your jobs right now is to do your best to get workers and stop working in the business. You want to get out of the truck so that you can work on the business and bring more business in while your technicians are doing the work. That's your job. Some people, it's hard for a lot of us because we like being in the field. So it's not something that gets done from today till tomorrow. It's a transition, and it's difficult. Otherwise, everyone else would do it. But it's something that we all need to be working on, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to just say thank you so much for your time today, Joseph. I think the conversation went really well. I think the advice you gave to other plumbers who are either just getting started or at least getting started with Housecall know how to operate their business from someone who's been in their shoes before. And then I also want to thank all of our participants. Couldn't have done this without you. And the questions that you asked were really great and really drove our conversation. So as a reminder, each and every one of you will receive a video, a copy of this webinar via email within the next week. And then you do have that Facebook group that's available for you that has about 10,000 plus users in it that use Housecall Pro. We have unlimited chat-based support. You have your help center. And then, of course, different networking opportunities as well to come. So again, thank you so much for your time today, Joseph. Really enjoyed learning from you. And then, of course, thank you to all of our attendees as well.
Yeah, my pleasure. I hope that was helpful. It's always a pleasure for me to talk to other plumbers. When I was starting out, I know how difficult it was. So if you guys ever have any questions, you can always feel free to contact me, and we can always talk about some plumbing.
All right. All right. Well, thanks again so much. And I will chat with you all later. Take care.
See you guys.